Hello, Mr. Gall. This is me, Adrian Mays. This is my final exam project because I really don't want to take the final exam. Nope. So, yes, it's late and I do have a hat on. Let me explain why. My hair just looks terrible, as you can see. So I decided to put a hat on so I would actually look somewhat decent in making this video. I'm not a video type person, but sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do, you know. So we'll go ahead and get started. First of all, I just want to say I enjoyed this class. It was very early in the morning. 8 o'clock is early, but this day and age, you got to get up to get things done. And so I really enjoyed this class. A few things I learned. Yeah, just excuse me. I've been sick. A few things I've learned. Um, Growing up, I wasn't the most understanding at times of special ed children. I There were guys, guy named Zach, guy named Calvin, who I grew up with, who I used to just take care of. Like, they couldn't walk, they were in wheelchairs, and I mean they were fine. They just couldn't walk. They had whatever was going on with their legs or whatever. Like, I used to go to recess and everybody be running around acting crazy, and I was with them. I push one far, I run back, get the other one, push him, and like we just had so much fun. And the teachers, they loved me for that. And me not seeking attention or appreciation, I was just being myself and not even realizing that I was impacting somebody. I'm still good friends with these guys today. They still can't walk or whatever. I'm still good friends with these guys today. We're 21 years old. Um, but yeah, this class has helped me as a person and as a future educator. Because when you're dealing with the thing I've learned, I think the most is when you're dealing with special ed or students with exceptionalities, you have to know the approach, how to approach the situation. I think is what I've really understood and what I've learned most, and not just even with students with exceptionalities, with people in general. You have to know how to approach certain situations. Things are not always as we see them. There are proper steps and proper procedures that we have to take in order to take care of what needs to be taken care of. And some people don't get that. And I can say that before this class, I mean, I kind of understood it, but now I really understand because, we're all people and we all have feelings. And dealing with special ed, they're more sensitive to things like that. So we must be careful and mindful of how we approach them and with what's going on with them, like trying to determine, you know, their disability or anything like that. You can't just walk up to them or, go to the parents and be like, hey, I think this is what's wrong with your kid. You can't do that. Like, you have to go through certain steps um, and talk to the right people who can actually help you as an educator find the proper treatment, the proper steps and where to go to help students. I initially wasn't gonna be an educator. I didn't want to do teaching at all, but now I just have a desire for children. I'm not. I wasn't necessarily on the special education track, you know, but I like I like where this is going, and if I had to, step up and take that role, I believe I could because they deserve so much. Um, I'm not gonna say attention, but they do deserve so much attention. But I don't want to make that sound like a bad thing because they're. I believe we're all equal. Some of us just have differences, and that's about it. So, and all that kind of goes into my diversity paper as well. We're all diverse. We're all different. We all have different things about us that nobody else has in this world. And as mentioned earlier, talking about my friends in the wheelchairs and just different things like that. That's how I lived and how I grew up. And we're all diverse, and we have to be able to accept that and to help each other out. That's the main thing. If we would all help each other out and not shun away from each other and, just different things, the world would be such a better place. I'm gonna start rambling. Hope not. Um, I can't remember what all I put in my diversity paper, but basically just my definition. Like I said, we're all diverse. It doesn't necessarily mean special ed or here whatever. We're all diverse and we all have our differences. So we should all be mindful of that. Next, my interviews. I interviewed Micah Smith, whom he has ADHD. Growing up, he didn't seem to. It was an issue, but it wasn't a severe issue. And even to this day, I think he's better. He doesn't really require much now in college. He didn't too much require things earlier, but he did have some help along the way. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. But now it has gotten better, and he's good. Um, I didn't know I had to do two interviews at all, so I only did one. So I know that's you have to do what you have to do. I'm fine with that. Movies. I signed up to watch I Am Sam, and I signed up to watch Sling Blade. With I Am Sam, I had actually watched I Am Sam a long time ago. It came out in 2001. I don't remember when I watched it, but I watched it a long time ago. And then, of course, I had to go back and rewatch it to come back to myself about it. I Am Sam, basically, there's a guy, and, this guy and this lady, they had a kid. Her name was Lucy. The mother left them, okay, and Sam, the father, he he had a developmental disorder or issue. He basically had the mind of a 7-year-old, 6 or 7 year old. I'm not too sure. I have my notes right here, just so you know, just in case I look down. I don't want you to think, whatever. But he basically had the mindset of a 6 or 7 year old, and he was trying to raise this kid on his own because the mother left. And of course, him having a disability or whatever, he surrounded himself with others with the same disability. Um, I this movie was very very moving to me. It just shows a great deal of love and compassion as parent to child, and how it should be. A lot of us take so much for granted. Um, and this man had an issue, and I'm telling you, he showed more love towards his child than I've seen normal people show. But basically, the gist of it, he had a disorder. He was trying to raise his daughter. Um, they saw they were trying to take her away from him because of his disorder. They were trying to say that he was not capable of raising her because of his developmental issue, and he had the mindset of like a 6 or 7 year old. And so she was basically outgrowing his capability or whatever, and that was the main issue of the movie. So he had a birthday party, just trying to do the best he could with his daughter, and a social worker came and took the daughter away. And of course, Sam, he goes crazy. He's not having this. So he goes out and tries to find a lawyer. So he finds this lawyer, Rita. Rita, she's, big time lawyer or whatever. Lawyers, they're very fast paced. They don't have a lot of time for side stuff or whatever. She didn't think this case to be too big or whatever. And so, I guess she really kind of started feeling Sam. She was dealing with some issues of her husband. Her husband was cheating on her, and her and her son didn't get along at all. Like it was very serious. So all that on top of trying to take care of Sam and trying to be patient with him because of his mindset and his capabilities really took a toll on her. So she at the end, it was very good, but she just wasn't having it. But to prove or whatever, I guess to others and to herself that she had a heart, she decided to really put her all into Sam's case or whatever. So, they're trying and trying to get custody and pleading their cases or whatever. And they, Sam eventually, I mean, not Sam, Lucy eventually has to go to, she's adopted or whatever. Um, the adopted people decide to give Lucy back to her father. The end of the movie, Sam is reffing a game with Lucy, and he picks her up, and they run around, and it's awesome. The adopted family's there. All the people who basically helped Sam in this were there, and it was very touching to me. So happy ending. Next, Sling Blade. I signed up to watch Sling Blade. Sling Blade was an awesome movie as well. When I first heard the name, I was like, "What in the world? Why is this, a movie to watch in this class? Sling Blade. People's dying, obviously, but it actually was a very, very good movie. It's about this man named Carl. Um, Carl killed his mother and his mother's boyfriend because they were having an affair. He was initially going to kill the boyfriend, but he found out his mother was actually engaging, like she was okay with this affair. So he killed both of them with a sling blade. Okay, so he did this when he was 12 years old. So he goes to prison or whatever, and he's in there for a while. Gets out. They let him go. They feel like he's deemed fit to be released to the public. So Carl gets out, whatever, goes home, gets a job at a small engine repair shop, which is like lawnmowers, weed eaters, just small engine stuff. Excuse me. So he's working there, whatever, and he meets Frank. Frank is 12 years old. Frank's father was killed by a train. Frank tells Carl initially that his father was killed by a train, but we find out that Frank's father actually committed suicide, and left Frank and his mother. So Frank's mother, Linda, Lucy, whatever, is really Linda. Linda, she works at Dollar General with her gay friend or whatever, and Carl and Frank become really good friends, like really good friends. So Frank introduces Carl to his mom, Linda, and her gay friend, and basically Carl really doesn't have nowhere to live or anything like that. So he moves in with Frank and his mom. Frank's mom is dating Doyle. Doyle is a loser. Okay, he does not like Carl. He doesn't care for Carl. He hates the relationship that Carl has established with Frank. He hates the relationship that Carl has established with his girlfriend Linda. Right? Doyle is not having it. Okay, so basically the gist of this is Doyle and Linda get into it, a physical altercation, and Carl upset about it or whatever. So Linda, Doyle make up, and Doyle decides he's gonna move in, like for good, like I'm moving in. So Carl is not having this. Okay, so Carl makes way for Frank to stay at Von's house and also to go pick up Linda and stay a night. When all this takes place, they go spend the night at the gay friend's house. Carl goes over to the house and basically just kills Doyle because he's crazy. and controlling and all that type of stuff. Wait a minute, my laptop just went out. Okay, I'm back. Um, so basically, that's how that one. And Carl goes back to jail. But he's completely different. He's learned a lot. He's cool. So basically, I suggest of both of those movies. I enjoyed watching both of those, and I'll probably watch them again and again. I Am Sam is a very great movie, and also Sling Blade. I really enjoyed that one. Um, Let me see what else is on here. I lost it. There it is. Real quick, my field placement. Field placement was awesome. I enjoyed it. My first day there, the teacher was like, "Just don't be scared." Scared of what? Okay, but come to find out, my students were from DSS, DJJ. Just getting kicked out of high school, coming here. Okay, they were funny, but they were kind of crazy. It's like you take all the disruptive children out of one regular classroom and put them in one classroom. Not a good idea. I don't know whose idea that was, but it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that that's a terrible idea. So I'm running out of time. I gotta hurry up. They go there. Um, Me, Taylor, and we went Monday, Wednesday, Friday to hang out with these kids for a couple hours, and they were always fighting and just cussing each other out, and it was really no type of anything. Like they had people, older men, bigger guys, tall dudes, follow each class around and kind of like supervise in the class. Like I've never seen anything like that before. And like all they talked about was the streets and sex and like I don't know. I just wanted them to find a life, something to do. Like it's not about the streets and drugs and all that type of stuff. They were I don't know, I tried to talk to a few of them. And like we had some very interesting conversations. But it was very very interesting and very different. Very good experience for myself um as far as moving on as an educator. To just see like this is not the life you want to live. This is not where you want to be. And like I say, a lot of us we take a lot for granted. Just being in a regular school, take it for granted, for free, public education. I don't know, but I really enjoyed field and placement. It was at Anderson's career campus with Miss Seville. She was awesome. She kind of, I don't know, when the kids got to acting crazy, sometimes she didn't really do too much. Like they that crazy, and she'd just be like, okay, whatever. Um, like one instance, this guy was like, she was going over something, reading a book, or they was actually working on verbs, going over a workbook, and the boy had his head downstairs. And so she said, "Do you want to, join the class?" And he was like, "No, f you." And I was like, so I'm sitting back now, I'm waiting for something to pop off. And no, she just goes over there, opens his book, and puts it on the right page for him. And I was just like, wow, that takes courage because I can't do that. I would have been very upset. So that's not a place for me. I can see that just individual, just as a person, that's not a place for me because I can't put up with that. Mm-mm. But they were very cool, and I really do wish the best for them. Awesome field placement though, very awesome. I enjoyed it. I didn't know what to expect after she was like, you know, just don't be scared. I'm like, lady, what are you talking about? But after that, after going a few times and getting used to them and just kind of, joking and with them, it was very interesting and very fun. I really enjoyed that. My case study was on this boy. Um, he his name was Malik, but he wanted to be called Malaysian. He was having some issues with, his identity, I guess. And he had like long hair, and it was weird. Like when my first few days, I didn't even know if it was a girl or a boy. Somebody was like Malik, and I was like, okay, good. Malik is not a girl name. And he was like, it's Malaysia, and I was like, so. Here's my case study, and come to find out, his mother's lesbian, so he doesn't really have a father figure. And so this is all he knows. and he's just going through a tough time. And so that's all about my field placement. I wrote a lot about it in my reflections and different things. So yeah, cool. Presentations, real quick. Um, Presentation was about emotional behavior disorder, which doesn't really have a definition. EBD. You just have to be mindful and be careful of these students because you never really know what a person or students or anybody is really going through. So just be mindful of that. I thought our presentation went well. Michael was a little long-winded, but he's very creative. His mind, when he made up that story, um, I was blown away because you never knew what to expect. And that just goes on to show, you never know what somebody's going through and why they are the way they are. And I had to learn that. You can't just talk about people all the time because you don't know their story. You don't know my story or their story or the things that they've been through, which makes them who they are. That's about it. I've been talking for about 20 minutes now. I'm sorry to bore you if I am. Um, that's about it. Wrap it up. I really enjoyed this class. I've learned a lot, and I'm grateful. I will definitely come to you if I have any questions about anything, because I feel like you've been doing this for a while, and I feel like you know a lot about what's going on and how to handle situations. As I talked about earlier, that's one of the main things I've learned, just how to handle things. Um, so yeah, thank you. I hope this is sufficient enough for you. Um, and I will be talking to you soon. Thank you.